As you are ascending into the heart of Jesus, I want you to feel your heart is starting to expand. It's starting to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. As it's growing bigger, I want you to see your heart coming out of your spirit body. And as Jesus is with you, you are ascending higher into his heart, but you have your heart in your hands. And you are continue to rise and ascend into the higher realms of his heart. I want you to continue with that feeling or that sensation of ascending, because you are activating your spirit that it is going higher and deeper into the heart of Jesus. Okay, as you are moving up, I want you to see you are moving into a realm of Jesus's heart that you are not familiar with. I know that's difficult to imagine and to explain, but you are moving into a place that is, you can feel the intensity of the love of Jesus, that it is so intense that you can cut it with a knife. That's pretty much what I want you to experience when you move into that chamber. So you move into this chamber of the heart of Jesus. And I want you, when you're in that chamber, move your spirit around and you can feel tangibly the environment of being in that inner chamber of the heart of Jesus. It's teeming with color. There's frequency moving around. You can hear sound moving around in that inner chamber of his heart. You can hear angelic songs, love songs being sung from them. So take a moment as being in that inner chamber of the heart of Jesus and just soak up what you are busy experiencing in that place. Remember the breathing. Now, as you are in that inner chamber, remember you still have your heart in your hand. I want you to imagine in that inner chamber, there's a nucleus of energy. I want to say it's that energy that exploded, that Yahweh entangled with when he created. And you see that right in the middle of the chamber. And it's like when you imagine Moses with the burning bush, there was fire, but it wasn't fire, you know. It's that kindling, blazing glory, fire, furnace-y kind of a scenario that you see in the middle. That's like a ball burning. That's the center of the chamber of that passion, that intimacy, that rawness of the love of Jesus that is burning in that center. Now, Jesus is taking you towards that place. And don't imagine it small. Imagine it a dimension that you are moving towards. And I want you to, Jesus is taking you by your hand and is leading you into that dimension of that ball of fire, of the intensity of his love. And I want you to step into it. When you step into it with your heart, I want you to place your heart in the center of it. And I want you to start feeling that fire, like within the blog, that his kisses are a kindling fire. That you just stand there, and I want you to soak it up, to breathe it in. Allow the frequency of his kisses in that realm, of the tangible love and that kindling fire. Feel it consume your spirit, man, and you breathe it in and out. And you breathe that love in, and when you breathe out, you feel Jesus releasing the old frameworks of what you knew of the love of Jesus. So as you are standing in that ball of fire, you are breathing it in, you are soaking it in, but you are also releasing the old mindsets, the old frameworks, the old ways of thinking regarding the love of Jesus, and you are just releasing it back into that, and you are soaking up the new kindling fire of the intensity and the passion and the love of Jesus. That is a kindling fire in that furnace, and you are allowing it to consume your whole spirit being. And just take a couple of minutes and experience what is Jesus doing in and through your spirit in that furnace. Because in that place, he is busy reframing and realigning your love gates with his. And take it in. Allow that sensation to overwhelm you. Get drunk in that frequency that you're breathing in. See how the frequency of that intensity entangles with your spirit. And it's just starting to open gates. It's opening love gates. When you breathe in that fire, see the kisses of Jesus being released in and through you. what I want you to experience is that Jesus is busy reframing your spirit into a completely new dimension of receiving what he wants to release in and through you in the romance. Complete overall. Now, what I want you to do is you are standing in that realm of that fire of the passion of Jesus. I want you to see Jesus step into your spirit and see his spirit entangle and intertwine with every single strand, frequency, vibration of your spirit man, to entangle with his, so that mystic union he is igniting in your spirit. Now, however you want to picture this, as he is inside of you, see him align his love gates. So see circles coming together. Your love gate, his love gate, aligning. And as they align, see him release love, see him release kisses into your spirit. And just experience the fire and the passion of the intensity of his love burning you up. I want you to feel that heat. I want you to feel that joy rising up you. It's like you just about want to fall off your chair because your spirit is just completely consumed and drunk with the reality of the presence of his love that is a kindling fire burning in your spirit. As you breathe it in, also see that it's something you can drink. So it's like you're taking the love of Jesus and you're drinking it into your spirit. When you do that, your spirit is participating in the activation of what is being released. Now I want you to start feeling joy starting to bubble up in your spirit. If you need to start laughing, laugh. You're on mute. No one can hear you. But activate that joy that you start feeling Jesus is releasing in and through your spirit as he's just releasing divine romance. And go with how your body reacts. Don't have to sit like a statue. Allow your body to respond to what you are feeling or what your spirit is releasing in you. Keep on breathing it in. Because what you're doing is you are saturating your spirit and completely realigning it. And Jesus is releasing new stuff into you because he's preparing your spirit for what is coming in the next sessions. And believe you me, it's nothing you are used to. so, so soak up what he's doing. He's breaking all the old and just drink. Allow the drunkenness of his love just to consume your spirit. Now, while you're in that place of intense fire, you know you might have an insecurity. I mean, when Jesus encountered me, I said to him, but I don't feel lovable. So whatever it is that you know you are holding on to, it can be that you don't love yourself, or you feel maybe Jesus doesn't love you the way that you think, or you're not lovable, or you have a framework of how a father loved you that wasn't quite godly. I want you to think of those things, and Jesus wants you now to take all those insecurities and all those boundaries, and he wants you to take them, and you take that insecurity or false belief about yourself, a false belief about the love of Jesus, and I want you to physically take it out of your spirit. So you put your hand in your spirit, you see that insecurity come out, and you throw it in the fire, and you see that fire burning up that insecurity. When you do that, I want you to see the love of Jesus going into your spirit in that place where that insecurity was embedded. And he just soaks and he heals your spirit with his love. While you're in that place of fire, I'm reminding you of that scripture in Song of Songs in the blog. In 1 verse 2, let him smother me with kisses, his spirit kiss divine. As you are standing with Jesus in that fire, you need to give him permission to let him love you, to let him smother you, to let him caress you with his touch, to let him smother you with the kisses, to let him embrace you. But not only are you giving him permission, you are submitting and you are saying, Jesus, teach me how to receive the mystic realms of your divine romance. Because religion has taught us stuff about romance with Jesus that has robbed us completely. And we want to give Jesus access back into that place of saying, teach me, reframe. And I'm submitting myself to those realms of your divine romance in and through me. And maybe there's a couple of things you need to give Jesus permission for. It could be simple things of, I never really allowed Jesus to love me. I've never really given Jesus access into my life. So just take a moment and allow Jesus, because maybe he wants to highlight something to you, what you need to surrender and let him. Rejection is a thing that keeps you away from allowing the divine romance of Jesus. Got to give that to him. Abandonment, divorces, love that didn't work out. Now, as you stand in that fire, I want you to say this after me. Because remember, Jesus is entangling in you. So I want you to repeat this after me. I entangle with the breath that was breathed into me in the beginning of creation. I entangle my spirit and my breath with the primordial breath. And I release the original intent of Yahweh's love for me into my spirit. I align the gates of I align the love gates of my spirit to align with the love gates of Jesus. And I give him access to live, move, and have complete being in and through me. And I submit my spirit to the mystical realms of divine romance in Jesus. And I entangle my spirit to those mystical realms to express the divine love and the kisses Jesus is blowing in and through me. I speak to my spirit to open up to Jesus smothering me with kisses, with his spirit kiss divine. As you are standing there, you are still in that place of fire. And I want you to look inwards into your spirit. And I just want you to see purity. Any spot or blemish that you had, any feeling of rejection, abandonment, loneliness, whatever it is, I want you to see all those things have been released from your spirit. And that your spirit is completely entangled with Jesus' spirit. The mystical union of you in Christ and Christ in you. I just want you to take a minute before we finish off. I want you to breathe that in and out. Breathe in through your nose, that union, that newness that's been released. And you breathe out and you don't see anything but purity leaving your spirit. As you breathe, I want you to feel your spirit you are just getting drunk with the love of Jesus. That's all I want you to do. Just breathe in and you feel the love of Jesus activated in your spirit, and you breathe out. And allow the intoxication of that love to overwhelm you, body, soul, and spirit. Okay, as you are in that place, I don't want you to go anywhere. You are staying in that place of where the fire of the love of Jesus is stirring in your spirit. And I just want you to open your eyes. We are not leaving that place. And you can just open your eyes. For those who are new, usually after the engagement, we allow some time just to share people's experiences, because sharing just helps those who are new to see what others are engaging and realize, but hey, I engage the same. And so I just want to open that up before I open up so that you can share. So you can just unmute yourself and share. But I just want to tell you that my experiences with Jesus in the last 3 weeks of divine romance have just completely blown me to pieces. That the frameworks that I had of the love of Jesus, not that they necessarily were wrong, but Jesus has just taken me so deeper and wider that I am intoxicated with him. I am so in love with him. I am in love with the lover of my soul, that I would come home sometimes and not sometimes, every time I come home, I'd take my journal out, and then I just write down what the lover of my soul is saying to me. Jesus is wooing me, and he's saying things to me that if you think you're going to be embarrassed or blush, man, there is no color for blush to what he is telling me. You know, I have to go discover that color for blushing in what Jesus is telling me. But I just want to say that what I am experiencing about the love of Jesus and him romancing me, you know, remember I mentioned in the blog about um, the Song of Songs and the heavy sexual undertones that you pick up from that. And Jesus just told me, he said, Shoal, you have no idea how Solomon and I had a love relationship. There's no way you can have a divine love relationship with me and write a book like that. He says, if I have to tell you the romance I have with Solomon, it will just blow you to pieces. But we'll start at ground zero so that you can process it, you know, which is what I'm doing with you. All right, I'm going to open it up. And so, Norma, you got your hand. How about you go first for it?
OMG. That's all I can say. I came in late and I just saw you in the realm. Your eyes are so different, Charles. Your face is so different. It's like your heart and Yahweh's heart, you know, the Trinity's heart of love is coming through your eyes, through your face. You have a whole different face. And I already stated that on Facebook like a couple of weeks ago. I so appreciate what you shared with us on Sunday, the for us the 16th, about that the love between you and Holy Three, the Trinity, is like Eros. I mean, you were so vulnerable, and I just wept. I wept the whole time. I wept, and I wanted to hear it again. And darn it, you took it down. But what I saw during this time of just being baptized and saturated and soaked and pickled and, you know, marinated in his love, I just saw like it was like the firefall at Yosemite I used to experience as a child, where they would create a bonfire at the top of Half Dome and push it down. And it was this river
Yes.
of fire. You know, there's the river of life, there's the river of, it was like that. And then it like opened up into this tsunami of a volcanic river of fire. and within me as we were going through this. And it was, oh, and I've been so blown away by Song of Solomon in the Passion Translation, where,
Yeah.
it is that lovemaking that actually the Holy Trinity experiences with each other. It's like that interpenetration of just, it's so profound that all I can do is cry, scream, or laugh,
Yeah.
because it's so intense. There's just no way humanly possible. So that when when we're experiencing this love that he wants to just fully express in us, it's like we could burst into 1,000 pieces. And when he first
Yeah.
gave me this baptism, it was like he said, my love may feel like it's burning you, but don't stop. Let me love you. Let me. And so when you were asking us to, I kind of like envision, and give him all the false stuff, the false beliefs, it was like I gave him the mirror, the cracked, ugly, dark mirror of how I would see myself. I would see myself like the enemy wanted me to see myself:
Yeah.
old, ugly, wrong, broken, whatever. It like breathing his feelings about me. And I
Yeah.
gave that to Yeshua, and I got his mirror of, you know, immortality, looking like him, beautiful. I mean, it was like this, it was like romancing the mirror of
Yes.
his heart for me,
Mm.
and I've actually seen, I mean, the Lord has, I don't, morphing, um, where I've been looking at a person with his love pouring through me, and their face actually shapeshifts into like how he sees them. And I tell people, and it's like they're so blown away, it's shocking. Like this one gal that was very homely, I was telling her she had the face of an angel, and I was describing what Yeshua was showing me. And she just, the mother and this homely daughter just burst into tears,
Mm.
because of probably what they'd been told or received, or, the earthly view.
Yes.
And then he did it with my husband a few weeks ago, where I ascended and with my husband, and he's not quite there. How you described your relationship with my wife has been my 44 years with my husband, but I ascend with him anyway, like it or not. He doesn't know it, but he sure likes it, in this intimacy, and
Yeah.
and taking him into that intimate realm. So the Lord was showing me his face through his eyes. And first I saw like this glimpse of my father's face in the, cloud of witnesses.
Yeah.
And then I saw my husband's face, father's face in the cloud. Then I saw my husband's face like how God sees him. And then I saw father's face. I saw Yahweh's face in my husband's face. And when I was unpacking this and sharing this with my husband, he could receive everything. But when I said, and now I see God's face,
Mm.
like it was like I had slapped him, thrown hot water, burned him with a match, uh, you know, cut him with a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, what? It was like
Yeah.
shock. But that's what God wants us to do. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for today. It's like it unpacks so much more glory for us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Norma. Thanks for sharing. You know, Jesus told me that I need to learn to go and look at myself in the mirror and to say, "Good morning, Jesus." Because, yeah,
Yes, yes, and yes.
because if we are in union with Him, because that was the breaking point for me, is that when everything broke open and I experienced the divine romance of Jesus, is when I said to Him, "But I'm not lovable." And when I said that, everything broke out. You know, now I stand in front of the mirror and I don't see Shawl anymore. It's not because Jesus wants you to disappear. Jesus is trying to tell you that you are in complete union with Him. And, and when I journal, and He tells me how, because we always grow up, to when we speak and just, Jesus, I love you so much. And And because I'm reading some stuff to my congregation, what Jesus is telling me in my journals. I would write, and Jesus would tell me, he said, Charles, I'm so infatuated with you that I parade you in the heavenlies and I show you off to my heavenly hosts, the man I'm in love with. I mean, like, what? You know what I mean? I've never experienced stuff like that from Jesus, and but it started with, I let him. And if you are not gonna let him, you are shutting out that divine place of what Jesus wants to do and shower in and through you. And while we're at it, I want to give you guys a chance to speak, but I just want to encourage the men. I know for us, for guys, it can be difficult to process some of the language that we read in Song of Songs, like, Jesus caressing you and smothering you with kisses and, all those kind of stuff. But I want to tell you, it is religion that wants you to stay away from that. You need to do what I did. And I said, Jesus, I don't have a framework for you telling me, you caressing me. Teach me what it is when you are caressing me, because that is what Song of Songs is about. It's not a feeling. It is a realm and a dimension that God is opening up in your spirit so that you can experience that intensity of his love in and through you. And Jesus would tell me, I mentioned on Sunday, he said, "So why do you think 2,000 concubines hung around Solomon?" It's not because he was so awesome. It's because he understood engaging the eros part of my heart. So the oil of my name oozed out of his being, so they couldn't get enough of him. I'm in a different realm with the love of Jesus. I'm scared I tell you too much, because just now you're going to think, whoa, what's doing with you? Okay, next, who's going to share? Who'd like to share?
I'd like to share something that happened like about 40 years ago. The Lord had asked me to do something, and it was to give up smoking. And I didn't understand how it was all going to translate. But I went to bed that night, and man, it still wrecks me. And it started where it was like he separated my body from my spirit almost. And the actual joy and ecstatic, and I mean, it blew my circuits. And I had to just say, Lord, I know this is important to you, but I can't do this. And then I came back together. But I think it's kind of what you're talking about. We're getting used to a place where we can carry him in our spirit that has to sort of swallow up how we've known him in our five senses. And there's a song that I started singing to him a couple years ago that I think is having even more significance now, but it's John Denver. And it's, you fill up my senses like a night in a forest, like a sleepy blue ocean. Come fill me again. And it's like it's something where it's like priming how I emotionally relate to him, where my emotions, my sensory, everything, my feelings are just coming into a place of being smothered. And so I love what you're talking about, because it's engaging us at a level that we don't have that kind of connection with him yet, because it's off the grid. And if 40 years ago is any gauge to how much it actually just goes poof, holy cow, this is going to be a very interesting time. Thank you.
And you know what is important about what we're engaging now? This is the realm that God is releasing the secret and mystery of the next, of what we're walking into. It's from that inner chamber of that complete vulnerability. Guys, I cry every day. And then I write something and Jesus says something, and then, I mean, it just shoots in all directions. But my spirit is just free, you know? So I just want to encourage you guys, you know, just yield to what Jesus wants to do, because he wants to love you. And here's the warning part. In a framework that you are not used to. He is breaking religion's framework of what love with Jesus is. And I want to tell you up front, there are going to be times you are going to be uncomfortable. You are going to question it. And you might even be offended. Get ready for that. Rather be in a place to say, I surrender, Jesus. Teach me. Because as soon as you're going to start getting your offenses up, and I'm not, you know, because, you know, Christians they must the gauge with what's right and wrong. I'm not comfortable with this. Yeah, because your comfort is my gauge, you know. Put that stuff, throw it out the window. I'm really encouraging you. Any framework you have about the love of Jesus, go burn it. Apart from the cross, you know, because that's the start. And allow Jesus to reframe the lover of your soul pursuing you and romancing you. It's going to change you completely. Who would like to share? Else? No one.
Can I just share one more thing? I saw that river of fire actually healing something in my body that I've been uncomfortable with, and kind of praying about and saying, this doesn't belong to me based on what you did at the cross 2,000 years ago. This is not mine. I send it back. That, you know, but this river, I mean, it's like I feel so different in my body. So this river of love, or this, you know, intertwining of the frequencies and love, it's like, it's so healing, because I see your spirit, Charles, and it's so healed. It's like this love has so saturated you. It's healed so much so that you have this look of absolute peace in your face. I mean, your face looks so different. And your spirit, you're even emanating a whole different sense of bliss, like a peaceful bliss. I mean, go watch yourself on the replay. I mean, yeah, even the way you laugh, everything is so different. You're actually emitting a different frequency, totally different frequency. And I don't know if other people raise their hand and go, yeah, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. So that if we can look in the mirror and see Jesus, or, you know, if we're not near a mirror, that constantly we're so entangled and engaged with him that we never leave that place, because as he is, so are we right now and the next 5 minutes and past, present, future. It's the realm, just staying in that realm of love.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it becomes so tangible, and that's what affects the environment. And what made Solomon so incredible is the tangibility of the erotic love of Yahweh was oozing out of that man. Now, okay, he channeled it into all his 2,000 concubines. That's his issue with Jesus. But the point is that Solomon understood engaging the eros part of the heart of Jesus, which is the most intense and most expressive of who and what he is. And that's the very part the Christians have taken. And it's a little bit offensive to me, and it's just a bit too close to home, you know, and we shoved it one side because we're not comfortable with it. Man, I want to encourage you guys, get rid of that. Allow Jesus just to start romancing you from that place. And you are going to see, you will emit a different frequency. Your countenance will change. Jesus, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot of what Jesus is doing with me, but I'm just doing it because I want to encouraging you guys. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I don't know this guy I'm looking at. I can't recognize this person, because in 3 weeks, Jesus took me, destroyed me, turned me upside down, and he started wooing me and loving me like, I mean, I have no framework to put it in, you know? Now, if that's happened in the last 3 weeks, imagine what's going to happen for the rest of the year, that we are just, for how long ever, we pursuing the divine romance. And I want to ask you, and I want your permission, but also whether you give it or not. I might say 1 or 2 things that might challenge you. They might offend you because you're not used to it, but please see the heart where it's coming from. My job is to challenge a religious framework. I'm on a mission to get people to experience this expressive love of Jesus, because it changes you completely. Catherine, go for it.
Yes, I totally agree with Norma. I think because you are our trailblazer, and before focusing on having, Jesus saturate our heart, but you're saying rather let's ascend into his heart and see what he's doing and experience that. Even when you talked about looking in the mirror and seeing Jesus, I heard a TED talk by Mel Robbins, and she's saying that every morning we should high five ourselves in the mirror. So I think it's like high-fiving Jesus, that we're one. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm just encouraged because I feel that release, like now that like you're 100% going for it, like no holds barred, where there's nothing we can't do. It's an exciting adventure. Like I feel it. So that you've, dove in deep, and we're going in with you. So thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Next, Tyree.
Hey, Shaw, honor you, man. So when you were saying that, imagine your heart in your hands, and I literally had my heart in my hands while I was in his heart. And I started to move around inside his heart. And then all I know was I was melting away.
Wow.
In the depths of his love. And it kind of reminded me of that portion in the Passion and Songs of Solomon, when the bridegroom King Christ, he begins to tell the bride that she's a radiant city. And it's like he melted me in the radiant light of his heart, which is his blood, the beating. Oftentimes I call it like a bleeding melody, because it's like the rhythm and the frequency of his heart pierces us to the degree where we begin to melt in the depths of his love.
Wow.
So, thank you.
Amazing stuff. Thank you for sharing that. What's relevant about what you said, Tari, is that it's like as Jesus is doing a heart transplant, he's melting away. You can only say it's a mystical experience, because that melting in that process and the heart of Jesus coming alive in you, it is, you'll see later on in the blogs, we're going to talk about living from the house of wine. And yeah, thanks for sharing. Maria.
I just want to share a little on my experience. And you were talking about the heart, but I kept seeing this vast desert. And I was holding the Lord's hand really tightly. We were really together, and we were wearing monk's clothes, Hessian cloth with the hoods, and we were walking in this vast desert. And he said to me, we are going on a journey. And I just feel that I need to share that with everybody. So for me, it wasn't in the heart, but it was about the heart, but we were in this vast desert. So as you're saying, we don't know where we're going to go. And my response to the Lord was, first of all, we do need to let him love us, because we don't know what love is unless he shows and reveals it to us. But Daniel last year challenged me a lot when he said the overcomers are those that ravish the heart of the Lord. So I put out the challenge to us that we learn to ravish his heart and to love him more. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Maria. Wendy.
Hi, Charles. Thank you very much for tonight. I really, yeah, I got a lot out of it. I got a lot of joy, and yeah, I just feel drunk at the moment, and yeah, I just feel his presence, and yeah, it's given me a whole new depth of the love of Jesus. I mean, I always knew he loved me, but yeah, it just has given me a new depth of his love. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wendy. And welcome to the group. It's nice to have you here. And stay drunk.
Okay.
It's the best place to be. Selena.
I did want to share. I feel we all feel pretty much the same way about watching this transformation in you, and jealous and willing. But I did want to share, and then I had a question. So as we went into his heart, holding my heart became smaller and smaller, and then it was like a stone, and then it started burning. And all of a sudden, I was also in this vast desert with one of those pools that is like a saltwater pool that has almost no bottom. And I just knew I should get in there. And I just started dissipating, like you put paper in water and it just started melts apart. And then pulled through that depth, like there's just no, it like goes to the center of the earth. And I was pulled in there so fast, and all of a sudden shot into this mountain, just straight into the center. I'm a big mountain person, so I was very excited to go to this very big mountain, but went straight into it, not on it. And that was where we were. At this point, I think you were saying something about that fiery love of the heart of Jesus, and knowing that it's a realm, or allowing it to be a realm. And so that was exceedingly fiery. And then I was completely on fire as well, but not burning. And the whole sky opened up. And what I'm jealous of, I love hearing these stories, is to actually bring that experience from the spirit into the natural, where you, like this beautiful woman who just said, I feel quite drunk, that actually can be the way of life, not necessarily drunk, but knowing what the reality is of your spirit into the natural. Because my biggest difficulty in this particular time is, perhaps I'm not quite where you are at this time yet, but with what feels like devastation in life right now, to be able to not just go into that spirit realm, but then have to be someplace else here, or feel the weight of that here, but to carry that and live it out. Because I remember you saying there was this turning point when you said to the Lord that you don't feel worthy to receive this love. And then you said, I choose to, I say yes, right? So I'm just in that struggling point. I just wanted to share for the people who are new, if they've, you know, it really helped me in the beginning to hear people's journeys during the ascension. So
Thank you, Selena. And you know, guys, I want to encourage you with journaling. If you don't journal, or if you do journal, then journal more. And if you're not journaling, start journaling. And don't always get hung up by having a scripture. Just sit and write down what Jesus is loving on you. I don't write down what I say to him. I just write down what he's saying to me, you know. And I always go back into my journal and read what he's saying to me. But when I write down what he says to me, there's an activation that happens in my spirit that it becomes a reality. And then I often pray, you know, that I would say to my spirit, like the scripture in Song of Songs, later on, it says his name is like oil in my spirit, or something like that, you know. And I would pray that over my spirit. I'd say, I receive the name and the oil of Jesus. And I pray today that as I come into contact with people, that the tangibility of that oil and the presence will ooze out in the atmosphere. I never speak of going up. Always remember that you are up, you are in. So train the way you speak and think, because technically you're never out there. So I don't talk about going into the heart of Jesus, because I am in the heart of Jesus. Now we do it in the ascension because we're doing an activation of the reality of it, you know. So yes, journaling. Nikki, you want to say something?
Hey, so Susan, I just wanted to share with you, first of all, you even mentioning that song just confirms that I'm in the right place. That is the song that I have sang to the Lord since I was probably 10 years old. And I sang it to my children as a good night song, a lullaby. And in 2015, when I went to Israel, there was a guy named Boaz singing traditional wedding songs on the Sea of Galilee. And at the very simultaneously as I was requesting that song, it came up on his computer, and literally a guy named Boaz sang that song back to me at the Sea of Galilee. So I just want to say, the Lord, you know, he hears your song and he's singing it back to you. He loves that song. And I've been trembling since you mentioned it. And by the way, the song Tremble by Lauren Daigle, also another great song. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I love how the Lord just connects us in these experiences. I saw other people to mention that that's a special song. So I just wanted to share my experience.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate that. Marilee.
Hi, everybody. Sorry that I'm faceless tonight, but I have a broken tooth. So I can't smile.
I can imagine that makes smiling challenging, you know.
And I can't help but smiling. So, Charles, you said that when we started, you said to the new people that we must remember that God will meet us where we are at. And it's so important. And I just want to share my experience. I've had this call to deep intimacy with Jesus for a while, but in December, it's sort of in earnest. He started really, really almost pressurizing me for this intimacy. And because of experiences I've had in my life, I've been through quite severe abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. It's really been a difficult place for me. Oh dear. But Jesus knows us. And despite what I've been feeling and despite knowing what's coming tonight, I said that same thing to Jesus. I said, Jesus, here I am. Take me through this. Lead me, guide me. Here I am. I want to be loved by you. I want to love you the way you want me to. So when this experience started, having communion with God, there I was, a little 6-7-year-old girl in a white dress with big white bows in my hair, all purity, innocence, and that's where Jesus met me. He is so amazing. He took me right back there, because where I'm at right now, I cannot meet with him as a mature woman because of the stuff. And some of the stuff we've been through just doesn't disappear overnight. So language can really put up all my defenses, and I've got to translate things. But you know what? It doesn't matter where we are at and how difficult it is. All God needs from us is our willingness. All he needs from us is just to say yes, and he will take us through the whole experience. He knows exactly what we need, when we need it, and how we need it. So all I can say tonight is just trust. Just trust him. He is going to do it. I know he is going to do it for me.
Yeah, absolutely, Marilee. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable to share that. You know, no, I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Marilee. I appreciate that. Is there anybody else who will still like to share? Alrighty then. It was fantastic to have you guys here. I think this topic that we are on, we are going to see major changes in people, in your life, and going forward. And I'm going to be pretty raw with some stuff, because I just feel Jesus says we need to break down frameworks. And so I'll try and be as palatable as possible, but I will be as real and as vulnerable as possible, that we can be and pursue and get to that place of that complete bliss and ecstasy, of that inner chamber of his love. So I love you guys big time. You must have an awesome time. You can tune into our service on the blog. I have the link there for the church, Center Stage Christian Church. Our services are live on YouTube. And we are also following this trend of divine romance with Jesus. And so it will complement what we are doing now. And yes, love you guys big time. And I'm looking forward to our engagement next week. It's just going to get deeper and deeper. So, woohoo!
Thank you.
Love you
Hey,
guys.
love you, Shaw.
Bye,
Thanks so much.
everyone.
Awesome.
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey,
Love you.
We love
Bye.
you. Love you all.
Bye.
love you
See you
guys.
again.
Bye-bye.
Now I'm lost. I
Thank
never
you,
know how to
Sean.
turn this on.